Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Action Comics issue 1061. That's actually a really nice cover, and I thought that this was an okay one. I wanted to check it out because I've been a fan of Jason Aaron's writing, and I kind of wanted to see how he was starting off with Superman with his I Bizarro kind of arc going on here. And overall, I enjoyed this issue, but when we got to the end, I'm like, I'm not really that much into kind of where this is going. So, we start off and we're pretty much get an explanation on kind of where we're at this kind of hidden kind of nebula with this planet Xerox, which is like the sorcerer's world. It says we're ancient, it is the ancient garden where things magic first took root. From the diamond temples of Gem World to the swamps of the lizard men in Startaris, Mystics and Maggie have for eons untold made pilgrimage to these venerable shores, seeking wisdom and tranquility, revelry and ritualized war. Bizarro arrived 15 minutes ago, and he has already forgotten why, as he's like busting through. And then we pretty much see the like most powerful ones kind of being like, what the fuck, why is there a Bizarro here? Sometimes in the midst of his blind, flailing rage, a thought will manage to jar itself loose from the scabrous heap of them inside Bizarro's mind. But Bizarro can never hold on to anything for long. And then he's like talking about Lois and Boizarro, whole world of other Bizarros, not at all like me. And he's like kind of wondering what's going on. He can't hold on to it for long. And we see him kind of forgetting and just like gurring. The best part of this is like the art. The art is like amazing and really draws you in. And then he just starts laughing, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is kind of going on here. And let's see. And that evidently this Bizarro is from Earth 29, known as the Bizarro World. And that all this Bizarro likes to do is punch things. And he laid waste to the hordes of our ensorcelled centuries with nothing more than his bare, unmagicked fists. That would seem to be the gist of it, preposterous as it may sound. Asking what he wants. And then, of course, the one is like, we're like unparalleled sorcerers. Let's fucking just like blast his ass if we combine our powers. And then, of course, since Bizarro is the opposite of Superman, who has a weakness to magic, they're doing this to leave no kill hex uncast. And then we see that instead of killing him, it pretty much supers him up, and it's like, wow, I do like that page. It's like, shit. And then we get Superman, looking fucking awesome, flying around Metropolis. 6 weeks later. Then he's pretty much listening to everything kind of going on around the world. There's like an accident going on, a mental health emergency going on. Let's see. Someone pretty much dying and considering if he needs to drop in to lend a hand. And then a message from Star Labs talking about Bizarro coming from deep space. And then Lois telling him to marry me, Man of Steel, marry me all over again. It's morning in Metropolis and Superman hears it all. And of course he goes out to check on why Bizarro is doing what he's doing. And we see Bizarro with a giant sack. And then saying that he sounds different, less manic, more focused. Saying that it's kind of unsettling. Being like, you remember me, right? I'm Superman. We've been allies in the past. Has something happened on Bizarro World? Or with your son, Boizarro? Last thing John and I heard, he'd returned home. Whatever it is, I'd like to help. What I mean is, I know comfort talking. Superman only want to fight. What say you, Bizarro? You think I smartest man alive. You know, Superman, you know so much. Bizarro, please, let's not... And then he just fucking cracks him one. It's like, damn. But I do like that Superman's like, how can I help you? As we see moments later, as he's been like flung, let's see, into Venus. Bizarro just swatted me 25 million miles. That level of power is beyond anything he's shown before. How has he... I not know what you're thinking, and it's wrong. I same Bizarro. Samest Bizarro ever. Then he pretty much takes him through the corona of the sun, the moons of Jupiter, Saturn's rings, Pluto, 3 billion miles from Earth. It's like, damn, that's not good. And then uses his pretty much freeze vision, telling him not to stop him. And then Superman's like, fuck that shit. And starts blasting him with like some heat vision. And then asking what Bizarro has done as he starts to unleash some kind of spell. Wolfsbane petals from the antimatter gardens of Quard, an elixir of hunger dog tears from the fire pits of Armageddon of Apocalypse, the still twitching tongue of a fifth-dimensional imp. A myriad of arcane ingredients have been gathered from the far corners of the cosmos. Somehow Bizarro simply knows what is needed. Since the sorcerer's world, he can see in a way no Bizarro ever has. The threads of all existence lie unspooled before him. He can see it all, except a way home. As we then see the Superman blur as he slams into Bizarro. And we get a helicopter pretty much like narrating and showcasing the fight and everything kind of going on. Telling everyone to like evacuate, get to like some shelter immediately. People actually taking bets on what's going on here. And then Lois is commenting that something's not right. Talking about how Bizarro is Superman's antithesis and that he's using magic. It's like, that's not good. And then, of course, Jimmy's like, then Bizarro could be a straight-up super wizard. Come on, Smallville, end this as fast as you can. Don't stop, Superman. I want you dead for what happens next. Like, what? And then Superman is still trying to talk to him and say that we can fix this together, which I really like. That really gets to Superman. Alone? But you have all Bizarro world, an entire planet of people like me have everything. Oh, multiverse never changing, never crisising, worlds always staying where they belong. Never because of people like you. It's like, oh shit. Pretty much talking about how his world's gone. That's not good. And of course, since Bizarro's speech pattern is different, you kind of have to be like, ah, okay. And we see, so like, I do like the use of purple with the kind of magical thing that's kind of going on with that ring. And then he starts using his heat vision on one of the books. Spellcasting Bizarro, this has to stop. And then we see like purple lightning kind of going everywhere. It's like, what the fuck? And of course, Superman is trying to get him to talk to him, but he's just not doing that. It's like, come on, man. And of course, the helicopter needs help as well. And then of course we see him kind of like switch up his speech with a spell, so that way he's actually speaking like we would. Bizarro was lost alone. Bizarro searched for a way home. Search for someone, anyone who want Bizarro around. Search for purpose in life. Find nothing and no one. Find only purpose is will to die. Until one day Bizarro finds something else. Find Sorcerer's world. He's not dead. How is he not dead? After all the power we just hit him with. He absorbed it. Our own magic. That's impossible. He's just some Bizarro. By the gods, what do we do now? Live. Sorcerer's World, what did they do to you there? Bizarro, this magic, this violence. I know this isn't you. You're a good man. No. Superman is a good man. Bizarro is his opposite. It's like, no, damn, that's not good. And of course, he then killed the sorcerers on Sorcerer's World. I don't accept that. There's still time to prove yourself, Bizarro. Those newscasters, they're falling to their... And then, of course, he hits Superman out, but he is able to right himself and go after the helicopter to save them. Bizarro has made choice. All that matters is spell. When it's done, then you see Superman, whether you like it or not. No. And last son of Bizarro World, no be alone anymore. But then he is able to save the helicopter, but then tries to blast up. In the clouds, Bizarro is screaming from within his own spell. As he flies closer, Superman's flesh begins to sizzle and blister. He knows it will be agony to approach the magical vortex. Agony proves to be an understatement, yet Superman never hesitates. Not for a single picosecond. Almost just one last as we see that Bizarro is able to finish his spell before Superman is able to kind of grab at him. Too late, Superman. Never too late. Never. Hello, Superman. It was horrible. He literally came apart in my hands. He was crying frozen tears, sobbing uncontrollably as he died. And then I don't know. I woke up in the clouds and there was no more magic and no sign of Bizarro except I can still hear him weeping, almost like it's inside my head. And it's like, that's not good, Superman! Then, of course, Lois brings up Dr. Fate or Zatanna to kind of figure out what's kind of going on, thinking he might have internal injuries. Superman's like, yeah, of course I'll do that once I'm sure you're safe. They're saying that the city's alright. That Martian Manhunter went to go check on Sorcerer's World and it's just a pile of bodies. And that he was right about Bizarro World. According to the multiversal cartographers that Barry's working with, the planet's not where it used to be. It's officially listed as a missing world, a casualty of one interdimensional upheaval or another. Lois, I think that broke him, that despair, into 1,000 weeping pieces. Then, of course, we see the effects of the spell start to come out. We see the guys who had, like, the bet going on. Then the one dude starts talking like Bizarro, say, I know, simmer up. What'd you say, Georgie? You ain't looking so hot, buddy. Crisis averted thanks once again to Superman. What would Metropolis do without its favorite? It was you see one dude crush his cell phone. Then, of course, Clark is talking about he can't get the crying out of his head. Clark, at one point during our fight, his speech patterns changed. He wasn't speaking in opposites like a Bizarro, but at the very end he said hello. If that was him reverting back to his normal Bizarro speech, then that would mean when I thought he was weeping, he was really laughing. Clark, I don't feel, as we see kind of like purple clouds and everything, Lois starting to change color towards Bizarro. Hello, Superman. Time for you to live laughing like the joke you are. As we see everybody turning into essentially Bizarro in Metropolis. So it's kind of like a Bizarro kind of virus thing going on. As we see Superman laughing and Lois Bizarro. Goodbye, Bizarro number 1. Next, City of Bizarro. And then there's an interview with Jason Aaron at the back, and that is the end of it. So, overall, I enjoyed this one because I liked Superman going through and trying to help Bizarro and still fight through it, but I'm not that into, like, oh, he turned everyone into, at least at Metropolis, I don't know, he did it with, if it was supposed to just affect Earth, or just Metropolis, or whatnot, into Bizarros. And I'm just like, I'm not that interested in that kind of one. Now, granted, the artwork is phenomenal in here. The action scenes, the character scenes of how you're able to see faces and everything works very well. The art is on point. This is $4.99, and it'd be worth it alone for that. But it was all up until we got to essentially the magic spell that is turning people into Bizarros that I'm just like, not really my kind of thing. And, that happens. Even though I've liked Jason Aaron's work before, I'm just not that much into that kind of premise. So, this is the one that I'm going to be doing, and I'm good. Though, granted, I do think he has a good handle on Superman, of how he goes to talk Bizarro down, try to help him out, and also help everybody else around. So, that I'm good with. I like that, his voice that he's got for Superman. Just the premise of the Bizarro virus kind of thing, which kind of reminds me of the kind of Joker virus kind of stuff that's been pulled in Batman before, where I'm just like, really not my kind of story at this point. It will be interesting to see how Superman deals with this, because this is a pretty kind of big problem, but I'm just not that interested to see that story at this point. So, those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.